Alright, so one of you guys asked for a Batman vs. Superman review on my Batman vs. Superman trailer breakdown that originally showed Doomsday, the horrible, horrible trailer that showed just how horrible this movie was going to be. So here is my, in a nutshell, review for Batman vs. Superman. It sucks. Everything I said in that review is absolutely true. Everything I said in that review came true. It is a horrible movie. It is not worth the time that it would take to watch the movie. It is not worth the money you would spend to see the movie. Everyone says Ben Affleck's Batman is great. Ben Affleck's Batman is great for a Batman who was around for 20 years and basically did everything on his own. There was no other superheroes. There was nothing, you know. If that is, like, if Ben Affleck's Batman is the, say, would technically be like Christian Bale's Batman 20 years removed. Like, Batman Rises didn't have, Dark Knight Rises didn't happen. But Batman Begins and The Dark Knight happened, and that is, you know, Christian Bale's Batman 20 years later, completely believable. And I think that's what they tried to do. But does it work in this context, in this universe? No, it does not, because you basically have a Batman who pays zero attention to anything actually going on. He is not a detective. You have Lex Luthor playing him the whole time, and let's mention Lex Luthor here. That is a joke of a character, just as bad as every other character, if not worse. That version of Lex Luthor is absolutely horrible. It's and the way that Eisenberg got the character. If I was Bryan Cranston, I'd never. Like, I don't care what DC offered him as an audition, I'd never audition again. Knowing that Cranston auditioned for Lex Luthor and they went with Eisenberg off of Eisenberg's audition for Jimmy Olsen. So, again, it's just like, no one making these movies gives a damn. Again, everyone is saying Gal Gadot was a great Wonder Woman. Really? Why? What did she do? She did absolutely nothing. Her character added nothing to the movie. If anything, it made the fight at the end against Doomsday even more pointless. Like, we didn't need the Kryptonite Spear because we all know magical weapons hurt Kryptonians. So, we see that in the fight. She fucking cuts Doomsday's leg, I think, off, or slices the back of his tendons or something. It hurts him. Really, then all we needed to do was have her stab Doomsday. Whoops. Really, all we needed to do was have her stab Doomsday in the head with said sword, and the fight would have been over. But we didn't do that. And it was quite, it was comical, like, what they did in that fight. It was comical the way the Batman and Superman fight started and ended. Like, they stopped because they like, Bruce hears the name Martha, and he's like, why did you say that name? But you have to go into, again, what they were trying to do with that is, by Lois going, that's his mother's name, like, you realize that what Batman is coming to the realization is, Superman is not just some alien. He has a mother. He is, everything that he says is true. He has a mother, he has a family, and just by some cosmic coincidence, his mother and Clark's mother have the same name, but they kind of, not, a lot of people they have the bond in their mouth. No. What Bruce is coming to the realization of is, Clark is human in every sense of the word, but a human. He has a family. He grew up in, like, you know, everything that he has said in an interview, in that instant, he realizes is true. That he, in his dying breath, is calling out for his mother is like the most human thing that a person can do. They're yelling out for who they love. He's not yelling out for Lois. He's not yelling out for himself. He's yelling out for his mom. And had Batman just not been a complete idiot in the beginning of the fight, we could have got that out of the way and we wouldn't have had all this crap. So that depiction of Batman, that part of Batman was kind of ridiculous. I'm so fed up with this movie's attempt to like make Superman the bad guy. Like the whole movie, it was all about what if Superman went rogue? What if Superman did this? What if Superman did that? Well, there's a lot of what ifs in reality, and we have built this entire movie and its premises on the fact that what if Superman decides, you know, to be bad? And it's summed up by a quote, like the reality of how you should depict Superman and why Superman is such a ingrained character to those who read him. And it's a quote from Batman from the Hush storyline. And it's that Clark is a god walking among men, and he doesn't realize it. Or no. Oh, and thankfully he doesn't realize it. Something like that. Like, because Clark thinks of himself as a human before anything. And the fact that, you know, yes, Clark can, like, fire, like, he can hover, he can burn people to a crisp with fire from his eyes, I think also is included in the quote. And he doesn't really see himself as that. He sees himself as a human with these abilities, and he just selflessly helps other people. And that is the Superman that we need in these movies. We need that beacon of hope, which is what Superman is. And it's funny that where DC's films are completely screwing up these characters, the characterization of these characters, their television is doing it perfectly. The Flash and Arrow are literally, the Arrow is Batman. It's Batman stories, it's Batman villains. We just can't use Bruce Wayne and Batman and the Bat family. So we'll use Green Arrow and all the people associated with him. Because you could draw parallels to the other characters, like the archetype, like Arrow is Batman, and Speedy at this point is kind of Jason Todd-esque. He, you know, died, got brought back by the Lazarus pit. We have you know, Roy is kind of like his first Robin. You know, it's all very much parallels to Batman. And then you have the Flash, who in that universe is the beacon of hope. He even says, like, you can't do things the way Oliver does. You are the hope. You are what people look at and they see the possibilities and things like that. And I mean, even down to Iris is a reporter. So Iris is Lois Lane, and you've got all these other, you know, I mean, it's very Flash-esque, but it's also very Superman-esque, and you get those character traits that seem to be lost on the people who make the films, that they can't get those character traits into Superman, into Batman. But here we have people being able to do it in the completely characters who aren't those characters. And And what sucks with Flash, though, is Flash went to Supergirl's reality and then came back and didn't say anything about it. And when I saw that this past week, I was kind of upset. I'm like, why not make reference to it? Why not go see if they exist in your world? Rip Hunter has made reference to them. But that's getting into the television realm, and that's not what this is about. This is about a horrible movie. This is about Zack Snyder, like, again, Hollywood, someone in Hollywood saying I can do things better than what they were done, which, I'm sorry, you know, you're not going to write Sherlock Holmes better than Doyle did. You're not going to write James Bond better than he was written and when he was created. You're not going to make a better version of Othello or Macbeth. These are literary characters that have been around for hundreds of years. So Batman and Superman and Wonder Woman, they're almost 100 years old. I mean, literally 100 years old. And for Hollywood to think they could do these characters better is just, I sometimes wonder, like, where people, like, that would be like me saying I can do better at Bleach reviews than Tekking 101, who I love. I love Tekking 101. I love his Bleach reviews. I love the skits. I love the comedy. I am the sixth seat of his Squad 101. I love the way he does things. And the way he does things is very reminiscent of the way I did things in college. But I would not sit there and go, you know what, I can do it better. I'm going to take his formula and I'm going to change it up. And I'm going to start reviewing Bleach and I am going to do it better. No, that's just not how you do things. And I think Hollywood does that all the time. They think they can do things better than the way the original creators can. And I think that's why Schuster and Siegel's estates and family have always been fighting for control of Superman back because of these crappy movies and the way that the character has been treated lately in the comics, because it's not what Siegel and Schuster originally created. And I think what really pushed it to the point was when in the comics you had Superman denounce his American citizenship, like, I am a citizen of the world. No, you're not. You're a kid from Kansas. You may be an alien and Superman may be the citizen of the world, but Clark was never the Mask. It's not like Bruce, where Bruce is Batman and Bruce is Batman's mask. Clark is Clark and he is Superman to help others in a way in which Clark can't. Not the other way around. Like, that's how, like, and I think that's what they miss in these movies, is that Clark is Clark. You are talking about a kid from Kansas raised on a farm, Midwest, corn-fed, like, just a good person. There is not a drop of bad in Clark, and I think that is very much missed, very much the point not gotten when you see these films. And how they screw these up when they're perfectly good stories already written for them. Like, you want to do a Batman versus Superman movie? There is a Batman Superman comic that has nothing but ways in which Batman and Superman would fight, and like the ways Superman would win and the ways Batman would win. And that issue ends in the greatest way possible, where it shows that it's these two kids, like this group of kids, sitting on a stoop in like Metropolis or Gotham somewhere, and they were talking about Superman versus Batman and who would win. And the camera pans up and Supes and Bats are like sitting on the roof listening. And Bats goes, yep, that's how I would do it. And Clark's like, wait, which one? and Bruce won't tell him. Like, that is their relation. Like, that is another thing that was missing from this movie. Superman and Batman, like, Clark and Bruce are friends. Like, you will never see Clark Kent and Bruce Wayne hanging out in public at a fundraiser, because it just doesn't make sense for them to be friends. But in reality, these two men are like best friends. Like, to the point where at Clark's funeral, when he actually died in the comics, like, Batman, like, strung up like some terrorist that was gonna try and blow up the funeral, and was like pissed to the point where he like threatens to kill the guy, and then goes, but he wouldn't want me to do that, so you're lucky. And he was so distraught by Clark's death that he didn't attend the funeral with everyone else. And you don't get that in this movie. Like, it's so forced, that reaction at the end after Superman dies. Those reactions, like the world, the funeral, and like, it's so forced because you just spent the entire movie pounding us in the head with the world hates Superman. And I don't know why. I mean, I know why people went and saw the movie. And I know why it did so well in foreign markets. People like dumb action. They like explosions. It's why Michael Bay movies do so damn well. I can't stand Michael Bay either. Because people like things that explode and, craziness. It's not an excuse to make a bad movie. And that's what this movie, that's what this movie is. It is a bad movie. Bad editing, bad pacing, plot holes galore. If this was any other movie, there would be no redeeming qualities if it was about anything else. I'm sorry, but the score is horrible, and like, Hans Zimmer should just, like, thank God he said he'd never score another, like, superhero movie. Like, his score in this sucks. Like, the dubstep fucking edited, like, remix of it, like, no. That old score of, like, Superman, the theme, like, at the right moment, it would evoke emotion, and the score in Man of Steel and in this evoke nothing. Like, Wonder Woman's theme got played repeatedly every time she was on screen, and it was just horrible. It was like film scoring for dummies. Like, this is the emotion in which you were supposed to be feeling. Cue. And it's not a good movie. God, it's not a good movie. I can't wait for Civil War. That's gonna be a good movie. And it's gonna be like, and what's sad is the parallels between Captain America and Superman are so, like, there's your parallel. Like, those are two characters that evoke the same emotions in the universes in which they inhabit. Like, everyone is in one way, shape, or form inspired by those two men in their respective universes. Cap was the first superhero. He was the, throw away the Captain America bit, he was like this beacon of hope in a war in which the bad guys were trying to, wipe everyone out. So, yeah, it was Captain America, but you don't think Britain was like, the British, like, Captain America is, he's here to save us. It doesn't matter he's American, he's here to save us. And in the comics, like, he inspires all these other heroes, you know, and you get that in the movies. Like, Agent Coulson is like 100% like all in, like, inspired by Captain America. Like, that is like, honestly, I think if you look at some of the stuff he's done on S.H.I.E.L.D., and if he ever had to look Steve in the eye, I mean, he may feel ashamed of what he's done, and Cap would have to go, no, there are times when you have to make those calls, and that is what comes with being soldiers like we are. I mean, Frank Castle, like, I can't wait for the day that the new Frank Castle meets Captain America, and just the fact that Frank is a soldier, Cap's a soldier, and that respect that is there, that no matter what Frank does, like, yes, he completely 100% lets Steve look down on him and hate him for what he does, but he will not raise a hand to Captain America. And that's the way it should be in DC too. Like, you had Superman, Batman, and Wonder Woman all come out around the same general time. But what you did after that was you had all these characters who were inspired by Superman. Like, there's a guy floating in the sky saving people. I can do something. I should do something. I'm not going to just sit and let things bad things happen. I am going to be proactive. I am going to help make things better. And that is what Superman inspired in the DC universe. That was the whole premise of the Reign of the Superman. You know, with Steele's like, no, like, he wasn't trying to pretend to be Superman. He was like, no, Superman gave his life to help all of us. I have no choice but to get off my ass and, you know, fix the problems that I'm partially responsible for. And all these other characters who've been inspired by, like, these other, like, you don't get that in, there's no inspiration in DC. Like, there's no inspiration in that universe. There is nobody, so there's no beacon of hope. There's no beacon of, yes, things can be better. There's nothing to strive for in the DC cinematic universe. And that is what, God, is what is missing from those movies. Like, that underlying hope that things can be better is not there. And I think what we really need to do is let DC know that we want that. And it's sad that this is what a DC universe inspired by Batman would look like. Like, that is what it is. It's all fear and grit and angst, and life is shit, and, you know, you have to fucking beat it into submission. And you don't have Clark's balance of, like, no, humans are good, you just have to give them the opportunity to be good. But instead we get Superman can be bad. Superman is the bad guy. But then wait, he died, so everybody be sad he died. But thank God he's gone, because now we don't have to worry about him fucking raining fire down from the sky. So that's my 2 cents on Batman versus Superman here in my car. Cause your ass can't wait on the goddamn bridge. Sorry, people are fucking stupid. They don't know how to drive. But yeah, so yeah, that's my 2 cents on Batman versus Superman. I'll probably use this version. than the other version I recorded. So until next time, later.